check out these cards that I accidentally washed through my washing machine. Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie, and I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. They have done it! Wizards of the Coast now controls Commander, Magic's most popular social format, a thing that was never ever controlled by Wizards of the Coast. It was a format that was created by judges and fans of the game, and they just created it, and then the rules committee took over the rules and all that thing. And now, for the first time, I believe, ever, Wizards of the Coast is going to put their hands into Commander format officially. Really interesting things. Obviously, I totally understand why the rules committee wanted to step down. The death threats over a game of Magic the Gathering is absolutely insane and makes no sense, and I think it shows the immaturity of a lot of the community in Magic the Gathering. But well, I'm not going to get into rambling on that, but I think it's absolutely insane that happened. I also, though, want to go back to that. Maybe it's insane for 5 people, volunteers, to have their entire control over an entire format that millions of people play a game. Like, I think that's also a ridiculous thing. So now let's get into what is next. What happens with Commander? And I'm going to speculate a lot on this. Obviously, in the article, if you haven't read the article, Wizards did put out an article, and they talked about having 4 different levels, is what they're calling it. What it is power level. It's the same conversation we are supposed to have at a table for power level of, like, what deck are you playing, how strong is your deck. They're just trying to give it more clarity to how to have that power level conversation. And they said that this is a conversation that is going to take a long time to happen. I think at the end of the day, giving Commander firm power levels just means that you're going to have different formats for Commander. And I think that that's a really risky move on Wizards of the Coast's part. When you start taking something that unites a group or a community and you divide that in 4 different parts, it's going to cause a separation of the community and a separation of the things that matter. And you will now have these competing entities of people who play, and it'll be harder for you to get a game of Commander when you go to the table and everybody wants to play version 3 and you have a deck that's version 1, and it will lock into, when you put rules to things, it locks people into groups, and then they don't want to play with the other set of rules. They don't want to do that. They don't have the decks, they don't have the time, they don't have the whatever. And because you've set a rule and a setup, they're going to feel like they can't bring their power level 1 deck into a power level 3 game, and that it's not, so it's going to be really interesting if they actually go down that route. I, for one, feel like the best move for Wizards in this time would be to say Commander is casual. There's a casual format called Commander, and you play the game. And I think personally they should get rid of all bans. I think you could ban like the Power 9 and the cards that everybody accepts as like the ban list, the original kind of cards on the ban list, and whatever. You have that, and that is Commander. And then I think they should have a second format that is CEDH, and that is a competitive format that they are now fully supporting, and they can have a secondary ban list for that format that are ways to create a meta. When in competitive card games, you need to have a meta, a healthy, diverse ecosystem where you can compete for money and you can compete for prizes and you compete for all those things. You need that in CEDH. You do not need that in pickup casual games of Commander. The Commander format is, in my opinion, a social format to hang out and to play cards. And if the power level discussion really it can't be there, then I think that those people who are playing too heavy power decks need to find a CEDH community. And if you are putting the energy and the time into the CEDH scene, that should grow and it should provide those options as a, you know, as a store and as a whatever. So that's what I think they should do. And I just wanted to share that. Now here's what I think is going to happen on the market. You're already seeing this. Man, my poor cards. So when they banned those cards, the Mana Crypt, the Dockside, and the Jeweled Lotus, I had our staff take them out of my inventory because I was like, I'm not selling these cards for 30 bucks. Like, I'm not that guy. And then literally my employee gave me the cards and I put them in my shirt pocket. And I went about my busy, very, very busy weekend this weekend. And then my mom was in town and she was hanging out at the house, helping out with the kids and doing stuff. And she did laundry and she washed my cards. And I think that those cards are going to come off of the ban list. I think we're going to see, kind of, not a knee-jerk reaction from Wizards. I think it'll be a couple months, a couple weeks, a couple months. But I do think that the current situation where those cards got banned reduced a ton of reprint equity for Wizards of the Coast moving forward. Your Mana Crypts, your Jeweled Lotuses, Dockside, those are cards that are staples that they want to be able to put on the box, right? They want to be able to put the Jeweled Lotus on the Commander Masters pack. And I think that they were in agreement with the Rules Committee. I don't think they wanted to ruffle any feathers with the Rules Committee because that's just not what they cared about. But when the Rules Committee steps back and now Wizards has full control, I do think Wizards is going to want to get that reprint equity back. So I do anticipate those of you who did pull those cards off your systems, those of you who did hang on to those cards and not dump them and sell them, and those of you who did not put them through the wash, you're going to be coming out pretty well in this world. And especially when you get to this world where so many people dumped and liquidated their collections, and now those cards belong to a fewer amount of people, you could even see a rubber band effect where it goes up in value compared to the previous, pre-banning pricing on some of the more tougher to find versions, like the book promo for Mana Crypt and that kind of thing. So it's very interesting to see this turbulent marketplace and this turbulent discussions about banning. There will be some highly negative things that come from this. There will be people who leave Magic the Gathering as a result of this. I've had an increase in the amount of people reaching out to me to sell collections. If you want to sell your collection, KitchenTableTCG@gmail.com. We are always buying collections. Influx of people will leave Commander and in that kind of format as a result of Wizards of the Coast now having their hands in it. They may make mistakes, it may increase. There will be some negatives to this, but there's also some positives in this world about this. I do think Wizards having their hand in their #1 format is probably a net positive for Magic the Gathering. It's probably a good thing that Wizards can do now some control over what they want Commander to be. It will have negative consequences and it will have positive consequences, and it's gonna be really interesting to see. So that's my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts on all these things. What a wild couple of 10 days or so in the Magic the Gathering world. And then we have Foundations, and then there's nothing. There's like no Magic the Gathering until the start of the year with Innistrad. There's like nothing at all. So it'll be really interesting to see the community and how this shakes up. So hopefully you have yourself a fantastic day. Be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.